Hello again, everybody. This took only a half hour to get straight. Steve Balestrieri here for SOFREP. We're doing a question and answer period this afternoon. And first of all, I apologize for the delay. We've been semi sheltering in place here. I guess everybody's been doing that. We've been hunkered down. But in reality, I guess I've been self quarantining for about 2 years because I myself prefer hanging out with my with my family rather than going out in public. But hey, we're all kind of in this thing together. Let's get some stuff going, and if anybody has any questions, we'll go right ahead and we'll take care of that. So hopefully everyone's safe, healthy, and we're just waiting on some of our listeners to or readers to click in, and we'll get this thing going. Well, while we're waiting for our first question, we can talk about some stuff that's going on in the news. I know everyone's worried about the coronavirus, and hey, welcome Scott from uh, from the UK. Hope you're doing well there. I know a lot of people have been worried about this corona thing over in the UK as well. So, and Kimberly, also from the UK, welcome. This is a first for me. I haven't done this before, so you'll have to bear with me. I know Big Phil from the UK does this all the time. He's an old pro at this, so we'll have to figure this out. So we're seeing. Okay, well, we're getting some people from Utah. Kyle, welcome. Aaron, welcome. We hope everyone's doing fine. Um, one of the things I wrote about this morning, it should be out on the site maybe late tonight or tomorrow. One of the things, for all of us, we get bored being self quarantined. We're used to being busy, getting out there in the public. And I wrote about, we do family movie night here, so we're taking turns and picking different films that we all like to watch. Well, obviously, everyone in our family has pretty different tastes. So, you know, the John Wayne spy movies, war movies, anything like that. That's what I'm here for. My wife likes comedy. My son likes sci-fi. So you know we're kind of we're kind of eclectic in that manner, and you'll see some of that stuff. It should be on the site tomorrow. But is there anything anyone is interested in talking about this afternoon? I know we have some people online. And we have some live listeners. No questions? Well, then I'll talk. One of the things that I was writing about today is the situation in Syria. I know that is getting it's starting to heat back up again. We wrote about that this morning. Um, the Turks, the Russians, the Syrians, they're all starting to heat up again. I don't think that ceasefire will last much longer, and the humanitarian aspect of that is really really bad. The Turks have over 3.5 million people that are refugees in their country, and there's another million outside of Idlib province, excuse me, that are you know in a kind of a makeshift refugee camp, and that is not a good thing, obviously. Um, so that's why the Turks are so involved with there. The Syrians are building up on the border. We're expecting to see a lot more violence again, unfortunately. And now they have the coronavirus there as well. The Russians sent ambulances to the Syrians this morning. Well, that's what we read about. It probably got there yesterday, but um, so that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Um, I know the stuff in Iraq is still hot and heavy. We heard reports yesterday. I haven't been confirmed yet, from the American Coalition headquarters that, Camp Taji got hit again yesterday with some rocket fire. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And so, what's everyone doing these days to keep themselves occupied with this coronavirus quarantine that's going on? Well, while we're waiting on any questions, if anyone else has a comment they would like to talk about, anything that's going on in your life right now, we'll talk about it. A couple of things that's going on with SOFREP. We, we're constantly looking for new avenues to approach. If we wrote some about some of the selection process with the special ops units, and the special forces qualification course is continuing, although the Navy SEALs shut down some of their training um, this week for some of their classes down in Coronado because of the coronavirus, obviously. So, it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. But I know that in South America, there's not been much news coming out of there. I think the biggest area that we're going to have to worry about in terms of this coronavirus thing is going to be Africa. Unfortunately, I believe that if this coronavirus starts getting a hold in Africa, their medical facilities are not the best there, and I think the death rate there will skyrocket, and that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. Hello, Glenn from London. Thanks for tuning in. Um, so that's what we're doing right now, and obviously, if any of you guys read George Hand's latest, he's keeping up with the stories from his Delta Force days. Those are always great. Um, and of course, Big Phil from obviously you people know him in London. So I always like watching Phil's podcasts. Um, unfortunately, my allergies have kicked in, my seasonal allergies here. So um, I don't have coronavirus, thankfully. So we'll have to just take it day by day here. Anything anyone want to talk about out there? I know we have a lot of people listening in. So anyone have any questions? Anything at all? That's what we're here for, folks. And again, we apologize for being late today. We had some technical glitches on the site. I hadn't used this before, so that was on the operator headspace and timing and not the site itself. Excuse me. Well, I'll give you guys from the UK who might not know me as well a little background on myself. Um, my name's Steve. I spent 17 years in the 7th Special Forces Group, as well as the schoolhouse at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Panama, and a couple of places overseas. I've been working for SOFREP for the past 3 years. I used to run the specialoperations.com site for them until we folded it back into the parent site here. And, I also write sports for a local American football team. And I write for a couple of local newspapers. So that keeps me busy. Um, Kimberly, thank you. I appreciate that. Ian, welcome. Um, yeah, that's about it for me. I've been living in the state of Massachusetts most of my life, other than my military time. Although that's probably going to change, moving back down south soon, hopefully. We like the we like the warmer weather. I'm sick of the winter. And to John Paul, everything's pretty quiet here. I mean, once the this first lockdown happened, most of the people they went through the panic mode around here. And I'm sure that we weren't alone in this area. Now everything's pretty quiet. I mean, people are staying home. They're staying off the roads. They're not going anywhere. Um, there's really no place to go. You know, we've been kind of hunkered down. The only place we really go is to either the pharmacy or the grocery store and occasionally the liquor store. But, that's about it. I mean, there's nothing really to do. We take our dog for a walk. We have an English bulldog, so she likes to get out and stroll around the neighborhood and show her stuff. Scott, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. Um, Shirley from France, welcome. We appreciate you tuning in. Anyone have any questions they would like to ask? Anything you want to talk about? Anything anyone's worried about with this whole, quarantine thing that's going on? Feel free. We will discuss it. So, what are people doing out there? What are you folks doing to keep yourselves occupied? Anybody? William, welcome from the UK. We're getting a lot of UK listeners this afternoon. Shannon in Alaska. I bet things are a little chillier there than they are here in Massachusetts right now. And Kimberly, you guys are in a 12-week lockdown. I know our president was saying that he wants everything back to normal in 2 weeks. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I don't think this is going to ease up at all in the next 2 weeks. I really think we're going to be looking at stuff in the long term on here. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to have to be until this virus runs its course. I'm in total laze mode today, in case you haven't noticed. I went to the gym early this morning. Even though my gym is closed, I have a key, so I let myself in and work out. And I didn't even get out of workout clothes today. I'm still dressed like that since 7 o'clock this morning, and it's now about 20 minutes to 4 here. So Stephen from London, welcome. Jefferson from Arizona, how are you out there? It must be nice weather out in Arizona this afternoon. I have good friends that live out in Scottsdale area, and I would love uh, to be out there right now. Oh, we got some people from Wales, and Big Phil's isolated. He is he? Well, Steve from the UK, tell us about yourself. Well, I already did that, but I will repeat that. And Stephen Pariseau, TB12 forever. Yes, indeed. I don't know if any of you guys happen to see that. My post a couple of weeks ago, I wrote about the TB12 clinic. Due to military service, um, I've had chronic pain issues for about 20 years. I've been walking with a limp. I've had really, really bad pain in my back and knees. I went to the TB12 clinic, which for you people in the UK, Tom Brady, number 12 here, played for the New England Patriots. He has a sports clinic, and their methods and the way they treat people is a lot different than what we're used to in traditional medicine here. And I've been going there, and the results are really, really good. I have to say, my pain level is way down. I'm a lot more limber these days, so that's all you can hope for. Um, and Mike from, I believe Mike's from the UK as well. The pandemic doesn't stop the war. That's absolutely true. It won't. It'll probably make it worse. So, unfortunately, that's you know, the way things work. Let's see what else we got. I don't know what's going on in California. I haven't talked to any of my friends out there. That's something I should do. And and Ian Evans asks, is there any concerns over military units shutting down big cities? I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't. We have National Guard troops here in the United States that are being deployed. But I mean, they're not enforcing anything. They're not arresting people for being out. Our own governor here said I think it was last night, they're not going to arrest anyone for being out on the street. They're just encouraging people to stay home if they don't need to be out there. So, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, never say never. I mean, but at least in this country, I don't see that happening. What do we got? Do you think the Russian numbers for the coronavirus is low as they're reporting? Let me put this politically correct. Hell no. There's no way their numbers are as low as they're saying. And it's funny because the countries that are probably the least free are the ones that are reporting the lowest numbers. I don't believe the Russians are that low. I don't believe the Chinese are as low as they're saying. And they're saying that their military has 0 cases of coronavirus. I'm not buying that whatsoever. Um, um, Nikos from Greece. He's a police officer. He said the quarantine works. It does. I mean, that's the only way to get this thing to stop. I totally believe in that. I think people, I wrote something about this, about the panic level. And it was not about the virus itself, because I believe that it is dangerous, especially for us older folks, myself included now. I count myself in those. However, I mean, I just think it's something that people need to calm down about it. When you go to the grocery store, there's no reason to panic. There's no reason to, rush in there and push people out of the way to grab things. I mean, this it's not happening. Chris Haywood, is Tom Brady retiring? No, he is not. He's down in Tampa Bay. He's now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Um, he had his welcoming press conference yesterday. So in he's going to make about $30 million this year. So Tom's doing better than I am. But Charlie, welcome from Germany. Brian from Bedfordshire. It's funny, Brian. You said we have the best president for this job. That's open for debate, but I'll tell you what. I think anyone in this position, they're dealing in uncharted waters these days. So I think that I think he's doing okay. I mean, I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan, but I think when you're looking at something like this, there's no easy answers. It's funny you mentioned it. Bedfordshire in the UK, the VA hospital that I go to, the Veterans Hospital, is in Bedford, Massachusetts, which was named after Bedfordshire. So I guess we have a little kinship there. Somebody said, "Oh, Mickey, hello, Mickey. How are you?" And yes, I totally agree with you that China has way more cases than they're reporting. There was reports that they were digging mass graves. Somebody was reporting that. Same in Iran, they were doing that with satellite photos. So, and we'll see. But yeah, people. Lynn said they've been acting like animals in the shops there. Same here. I mean, not this week. I think this week things have calmed down a little bit, but last week it was terrible around here. It's like I saw people almost come to blows over a package of toilet paper. I mean, come on. Come on, people. We're better than that. We're all better than that. There's no reason for that. We just need to, we need to get along, and you don't need 15 packages of it. Let everyone have one. And Brian said the UK reserves have been called up to have to help. Excuse me, help the National Health Service. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, but I don't think it's going to be to enforce martial law. At least not in here, and I doubt it in the UK as well. I think we're just going to see, our reserves and National Guard folks coming out and help people. I know that the Pentagon here in the United States was going to send one of their hospital ships to New York City, not to treat corona patients, but to treat, um, everyday aches and pains for people, to take some of the to take some of the onus off the hospitals here in New York, which, those big population centers, that's what's getting hit the worst. I mean, New York City, you have a lot of people living in close quarters. So that's where you have that kind of, effect. We saw that what's happening in Italy, where you have like large population centers with people living in close quarters. A lot of the older folks in Italy, and they're more susceptible to it. And the death rate there is, it's terrible. So we hope that this quarantine will work, and then the rate of people being infected will calm down a little bit. But um, it's tough, folks. I mean, we're dealing in something we've never had to deal with before. Obviously we've never dealt with this. I've never seen anything like this before, where the entire country, basically the entire world, is pretty much shut down right now. And but you know Lynn said, yeah, loo rolls went within minutes. Yes, they did. I was in the United States. We have one of these big, it's like a shopping warehouse. I'm sure they have them elsewhere. They call it BJ's, Sam's Club, Costco. And you go in, and it's set up like a warehouse, and they have thousands of rolls of toilet paper in big packages, and people were fighting over them like last weekend. So, um, it was tough. So, but we got through it. We're hanging in there, and now we're getting ready to hopefully see the last of the cold weather. We had a little bit of snow yesterday. Now it's melting, and we're having rain this afternoon. But I'm ready for some warm weather, and I'm ready to go to the beach. Jefferson, congrats, and thank you for your service. You said you're prior Army, and if anyone's out and sees Big Phil, let Big Phil know that we're always thinking of him over here, because I, for one, love Big Phil's videos. Chris was a sapper in the engineers. Thank you for your service, sir. Just logistical, yeah. I think that's what we're going to see, the reserves. I mean, logistical support, medical support. I think those units will help out. They can help out immensely with this. And if nothing more, it's going to reassure people. It's not going to scare people. I think if they call it the reserves and guard units to help out with this corona stuff, a lot of people worried it's going to panic the masses out there. I think it's going to have the opposite effect. I think people are going to calm down because they know that everyone's working for them. Sorry, my throat's dry. And you're quite welcome. He thanked me, Jefferson thanked me for my service. I have to be honest, I love my time in Special Forces. I served with some great guys. When I was in the 7th Special Forces Group, we had some of the best NCOs ever seen in anywhere, and in any unit anywhere. And I just loved it. I used to love going to work. I'll be honest, I couldn't believe they paid me to go to work at that time. And a lot of my friends that have been lifelong friends, we're still in contact now, and it's just it's just it was a great life. And Big Phil's in lockdown in Spain, so I know he spends a lot of time in Spain. I'm sorry to hear that. But if there's one place I'd rather be locked in, maybe it's Spain isn't the worst place. So, and oh, ciao from Italy. I can't pronounce your name, Moraletto Luca. Ciao to you. My relatives are originally from Sicily, Palermo way. So, I guess we're all paisanos back in the old country. But that's the one place I've never been. I want to go there. So that's on the bucket list. One of the I spent most of my career in Latin America, and I spent some time as a contractor in the Middle East. But one of the places I always wanted to go was where my family's from. We still have some relatives there in Italy and Sicily. Never been, so that's on the list. I remember going to Egypt for. I was doing some personal security work for some people that were going to Egypt, and as a young kid, Um, I remember going, being just absolutely enthralled about the pyramids. And when I got to see the pyramids, it was kind of a letdown because I was standing in front of the Sphinx and I turned around. And I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but with the big pyramid of Giza, then the Sphinx is right in front of it. If you turn around, there's a Pizza Hut and Kentucky Fried Chicken right behind there, and it was a big letdown. So, Luca, Luca, welcome. Australia. I have some good friends that live in Australia. Bernie, welcome. We're glad you're here. I hope you guys are safe out there. I know I haven't talked to any of my friends that live out in Australia. Hopefully, they're not suffering with this as bad as some of the other places are. So, Catalano is Mickey's family name. Okay. Well, I've I have some relatives in the Boston area with that last name, in-laws, I should say. Anyway, Nathan, thanks for everything you guys at SOFREP are doing, former Ranger medic. Can we expect more live streams? Hopefully, yes. This is something that they want to do more of. Hopefully, next time, well, I won't have as many technical difficulties that you know that we had this afternoon. We got started a little bit late, but we apologize for that. And Nathan, thank you for your service. I knew some good folks over there in the Ranger battalions, and well, we used to steal a lot of the really good Rangers in SF, and and of course, a lot of them went over across the fence to work with George Hannon Delta. So good folks there in the Ranger battalions. I had some good times working with them. I worked a lot of the first Ranger bat and with the third Ranger battalion. So, and Alan just said Big Phil's having a multi chat on Thursday, 1900 hours UK time. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out because Big Phil's the best. I love listening to his podcast. He does a lot better job at this than I'm doing, but hopefully in time we'll get this worked out. Apache Junction, Scott, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in this afternoon. Thank you, Lynn, for that vote of confidence. But I'm as a amateur photographer. Well, actually, I get paid for some of it, but I'm much more comfortable behind the camera than in front of it. And as you can tell, I'm bouncing around here in the chair because I'm a little nervous doing this stuff. But hopefully, again, that that will come in time. But Greg, welcome from Germany, and Stephen from Evansburg, PA. And I have some relatives in PA as well. Some of my wife's family lives in Carlisle, so you're quite welcome. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Anyway, we're just plugging along here. Oh, Mickey, you're awesome. you know, hey, and it is a little different being in front of the camera. For any of you who do know me, that I do some work for the NFL, as I mentioned, and I've been down there at the New England Patriots facility in Gillette Stadium. And when some of the players, one of them being Tom Brady, he would talk to the press, there'd be a gaggle of people around him, all sticking microphones in the face, of which I was one of them on certain occasions. And yeah, I don't know how those guys do it, and they stay so calm and so level-headed, because I know that would freak me out. But yeah, yeah, 2 hours. Stephen John, 2 hours down the turnpike. Isn't that the truth? When I have to go into Boston or one of my VA appointments, if it's not at 6 o'clock in the morning that I'm leaving, it's frequently a 2 hour trip down the turnpike in Massachusetts. If any of you have ever been here, it's not very pleasant. And I have problems as it is with anger issues. So the VA's helping me with that, and driving in traffic like that will generally bring those to the forefront. Alan, good luck tonight. Stay safe out there. I'm a Nikon man, Barry. He asked me if I'm a Nikon or a Canon. And my friend, I don't know any of you out in Australia who know Jason Boland. He's a professional photographer. He's done the still photography work on. You can name just about every big movie there's been out there in the past 25 years. Jason's done that. Jason's a Nikon man, and I used to joke with him. We worked on a film together, a war film. He was the still photographer, and I was just the head security guy. But I used to ask him if he'd drop any of his equipment on the ground, I could pick it up. But yeah, Nathan, yeah, time to rent. That's it, buddy. You know that. And yeah, Lynn, Nikon is it. I mean, I love Nikon. I've had three, and I just love their cameras. I love their glass. I just can't afford a lot of it. That's the sad part about it is their glasses is talking about lenses that's real expensive. I I love my photography. That's something it's a hobby. I wish I was better at it, but it's something I guess that comes with time. Yeah, I do have ants in my pants. I'm not selling because I'm not used to being in front of the camera. D3S for Barry. Okay, Nikon 50 for me. You have a better one than I do. Bernie has relatives in Boston, and his uncle was a Royal Marine. He met his wife there. Well, if you're ever over this way, Bernie, give us a call. I'm only about an hour from Boston, so well, on a good day, I should say that. Ian, Nikon all the way. Couldn't agree more, buddy. I love my Nikons. And yeah, photography is something that's a lot of fun. Like doing sports photography, and I do some shooting for the local newspapers, high school sports, football, baseball, hockey. Hockey's tough to shoot for high school if you haven't that because it's unlike the professional arenas. The lighting is pretty bad, so it can be a little different. Do you experiment with any of the 35? I experiment with every 35 millimeter I can get my hands on, Mickey. So yeah, but we hope everyone's staying safe out there, for real. I know that, like I said, here we're trying to keep everything on a nice, normal keel. We've had no problem finding all the food we need in the grocery stores. However, I mean, the meat counters and the frozen food sections there, they've been pretty picked through, but we found everything we need. Um, Colin asked if I ever worked alongside any British forces or any foreign forces when you were taking photos back then. No, I had my camera back then, but back then there really wasn't a lot of time to take some. I would take some photos like off duty. I had a lot of cool off duty stuff. Um, and unfortunately, I lost a lot of those pictures from my time on active duty. But I used to take my camera with me everywhere. And yes, I did work with the British forces. I had some good friends there. And when I was stationed at one of the embassies in South America, we had some great friends in the British embassy. We were very, very close with them. In fact, one of the guys I knew back then, I just recently saw he had posted something on Facebook, and now he's the British ambassador in a country down in South America. And I sent him a message. I didn't know if he'd remember me, and we had some laughs. A funny story. um, this gentleman is now the British ambassador. I guess I can tell you his name. That's not classified. His name's Robin Shackelford. He's a great gentleman. I knew Robin back a long time ago, probably the early '90s. I was at the American Embassy in Bolivia. I was training the Bolivian counter narcotics forces back then. And anyway, I met Robin, and He was the vice consul, I think they call it back then, for the British Embassy. And we had a really close knit group, Americans and Brits. And whenever we were together on the weekends, uh, the British had started this. They call it a drinking club with a running problem. I think it's called Hash House Harriers, and people would leave a trail with shredded paper from the embassy, and they would get a 30-minute head start, and the rest of the group would follow behind, and you'd try to catch them, and you'd run through the city. It was a Saturday afternoon thing, and it was great. And of course, we'd all drink too much beer afterwards. Well, this one afternoon, Robin came and he had an urn, and it was a former British diplomat that had spent a lot of time in Bolivia, and he had passed away. He was an older man, and after he passed away, he asked that his ashes be spread over Lake Titicaca because him and his wife loved it there. So Robin asked if we would all go and do a nice little ceremony on the shores of Lake Titicaca. So us Americans and the Brits, we all went up there, and we started a pub crawl from the capital of La Paz all the way up to Lake Titicaca. Well, when we got when we got to Lake Titicaca, I think we were a little, I guess you could say, intoxicated. And we went out onto the boat, and then we realized we had left the poor man's ashes. I believe his name was Harry. I remember Robin saying, "We left Harry," so we had to go back and get him. And then, of course, we were out in the middle of the lake, and Robin said some nice words, and we spread his ashes in, and it was really very nice. And then one of his British compadres went up to the captain of the boat, and he firewalled the engines, and Robin went right off the back into the drink. And that water was cold up there because it was probably only about 45 degrees that day. So, yeah, we had a good laugh over that, but great people. And Lynn says her 70 to 300 was expensive. Yes, I have that same lens. And I also have bought a 150 to 450, but it's not a Nikon lens. It's a, what's the other one? One of the other Japanese names. I'm drawing a blank right now. What bike do I ride? I don't ride any bikes anymore. I had a Harley for 25 years, but I gave it all up. It was fun, though. I had a bike the whole time I was in the military. In fact, North Carolina, where Fort Bragg is, you never get really any snow. But I remember being stuck at work and going home on a Harley in an ice storm, and that was interesting ride home. Happy days, Barry. Happy days. Yes, happy days to Lynn in Essex as well. So, anybody? No, it wasn't a Tamron. It's what's that lens I use? It's a Sigma, and it's a really good outdoor lens in the daytime. But yeah, Colin, yeah, like I said, Robin was a great guy. We had a great relationship with the Brits. Um, in fact, for our British friends out there, another funny story. Every year in La Paz, Bolivia, they used to have there was like a benefit barbecue on New Year's Day, and all the proceeds would go to an orphanage that was in La Paz, and the kids there really needed the help, any help they could get. So every year it would switch between the American ambassador's residence and the British ambassador's residence. So, and in fact, Robin and another one of the British uh, embassy folks, I can't remember his name now. They asked me and my partner Dave if we would do the cooking on New Year's Day. So it required us to start getting everything ready about 10 in the morning. Well, as you can imagine, we were all out until the crack of dawn, So my partner and I decided we weren't even going to go home. We were just going to get everything, and it happened to be this year. This year we happened to have it at the British ambassador's residence. So here we are with bags of charcoal and these big grills, and we're banging on the door of the British ambassador's residence at 10:30 in the morning on New Year's Day. And his butler let us in, and we're firing up these grills, and then the British ambassador came downstairs, and in typical understated British fashion, he asked us, he's like, "Well, good morning, gents, and could I ask what it is that you two are doing here?" And we were like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I appreciate you firing up the grill here, but why are you doing it in my house? And who the hell are you, basically?" And when we told him, he started laughing because he said, "Oh, Robin never told me I was the host for this." So he got dressed and he came down, the British ambassador at the time, and he helped us cook. And we ended up we had a great time. Of course, my partner and I, we were still half in the bag from the night before. So we imbibed all of his really good vodka that day for the hair of the dog. And by the time we went home, we were well fed and well oiled once again. So Lynn doesn't like Harleys over there. Oh yeah, corners at speed. Come on, that's the fun part. Going around. One of my favorite rides used to be going through the mountains in Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains down there. They have some tunnels that go through the mountains, and my Harley riding days, riding through there in the middle of the night because it was too hot in the summertime down there in the daytime. You go through there late at night on the way to I've ridden to California a couple of times and go through the mountains in Tennessee at night. That was some fun riding back then in my younger days. But anyway, she rides a Triumph. Well, I had a friend with a Triumph. I've never owned one though. Anyway, well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean we've been going about 40 minutes. If anyone has anything else they'd like to discuss, we'll be happy to continue it. I know we were only supposed to do this for 30 minutes, but I don't think the guys in SOFREP will mind if we go a little bit longer. Um, yeah, but no, that's my 2 cents for what's going on around here. And anyway, well, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. I hope everyone enjoyed our little chat this afternoon. If anybody ever has any questions, you can always reach me at SOFREP. It's steve@sofrep.com. If there's anything you guys would like us to cover, if there's any suggestions, stuff you want to read about, stuff that you wanted to learn more about, we're always happy to help. All of us here, that's what we're here for. And we love what we do. And I think the guy that used to run our podcast, Ian Scotto, did a great job with that. Ian used to always say, on time, on target. Well, I wasn't on time today, but hopefully I was a little bit on target. And I hope everyone enjoyed the chat. We'll be doing this again real soon, I hope. And please stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of your families, folks. I mean, that's what it's all about. For myself and all of us here in SOFREP, Steve Balestrieri signing off. Thanks for listening and thanks for tuning in.